I believe last year, the government gave out over $2 billion just in California. I know I think I may be undershooting that, but they gave out over $2 billion in government contracting money to small businesses and disadvantaged businesses, minority-owned businesses, women-owned businesses. So I used to previously work for the California Black Chamber of Commerce. So I want to spread the awareness about this because it seems like a lot of people don't know that you can actually do business with the government, not only on the federal level, but the state and city level as well. So that's a little bit about me, of course, and we do corporate structures, and we also help people fix their personal credit. Thank you. All right. Like Imani mentioned, everybody, we appreciate you joining us this morning because time is the most valuable asset that we have in this lifetime. So I appreciate you spending it with us. And in return, I will be giving you guys business tips, like you said, Tuesday through Thursday. Just keep tapping in, and we will be giving out solid pieces of information. And of course, if you want to reach out, you can reach out to us by email. If you have any questions that pertain to your situation specifically, because everyone's situation is different. So, what I wanted to start out with is, how's everybody doing this morning? Can we get a health check real fast? Is everybody good? Are you in a position to say yes or no?
Yeah, I can. I'm trying to order groceries and listen to him, but I'm doing well. I did want to introduce myself again, but I think I'm kind of late. I was not on the app, but I'm doing well, and I pray everyone in the room is doing well as well.
Excellent. This is great to hear from you this morning, Sarah. I pray that Hallie and Cannabis, is that how you say it? Cannabis,
yeah.
Cannabis. Do you have what do you do? I seen your profile.
Or I can go over that again. I'm an attorney. I've been an attorney for 25 years. I'm also a cannabis activist, and I started a company called Evergreen Solutions back in 2018. We are a full-service cannabis consulting firm. We assist with applications, compliance, networking, supply chain, you name it. And recently we've added a component where we help small businesses and individuals looking to get into the legitimate cannabis space to identify their strengths, pivot their companies. So for instance, if you're a graphic designer or you're a nurse or you work in construction or delivery, no matter what business you're in, our motto is that we can help you see how you can tap into the $30 billion cannabis business, and you can pivot either your entire business or a portion thereof to service needs in this growing and emerging market. We function in all 50 states. I have account managers that do legal and non-legal consulting services, from formulation of a business through the putting together of the business team, so on and so forth. All the elements that you'll need to either get a license in your state or at least to figure out how to be part of the cannabis space.
Wow, that is amazing. It's a pleasure to have you on this call today because I haven't ran into a lot of people like you as far as being able to position people. It's been a while. Like when I worked at the chamber, we were actually working on that. So it's beautiful to see that it actually came to fruition. That was a few years ago. But I'm interested in maybe connecting with you to ask you some more questions if you don't mind.
Absolutely. And I founded the National Association of Black Cannabis Lawyers. So when you were talking about your affiliation with the Chamber and other such organizations, I'm like, that's another huge thing that we're looking to do, is to make sure that there are Black lawyers involved with the national legislation for what's happening, not on the state level, but as we move towards national legislation, just making sure that things such as social equity and justice are integral parts of whatever cannabis law the country puts forward.
Wow. Yeah, that's amazing. I actually have a contact for you that you may be interested in speaking with to push that whole initiative forward.
Awesome. Definitely love to connect on that.
All right. Perfect. JB Johns.
Sorry, getting this beard together, Steeple, but yeah, JB Johns. Me and my fiance, we run a fashion company, getting a brand together for the ladies and gentlemen side. She handles most of the design aspects. I handle most of the business aspects. Right now, we're doing vendor events all over, and we also run a fashion consulting side to show people that you can really dress up and look very presentable and very nice for not much at all, instead of spending your money on high grade stuff. So that's what I do.
Exactly. That's amazing. All right. I love it. Well, it seems like the bulk of us here are business owners, so I don't want to bore you guys too much with the simple stuff. We're just going to go over business structures, and I want to talk about a little bit of what we do here at IE Experts. So, without further ado, when beginning a business, you must decide on what entity you want to establish, and that determines the income tax return you have to file. Most common forms of businesses are sole proprietorship, corporation, and S corp. A limited liability company is a structure allowed by state statute, and tax considerations and legal considerations. You have to consider those things when you're choosing your business. For me, personally, a limited liability, I like to start with a limited liability corporation and this company, and this is why. I feel like it doesn't really give you the protection that you're looking for as far as what another corporation or S corp would give you. I'm not getting down on LLCs, but I don't really see, as far as if you want to be protected, why you would use that, because it's actually connected to your social security number, and if there was something to go wrong, someone can attach themselves directly to the assets that you use to purchase. I mean, as far as anything that you use your social for, they can attach themselves to. So a limited liability LLC company is a business structure allowed by state statute. Each state may use different regulations, so you should check with your state if you're interested in starting an LLC. Most owners of an LLC are called members. Most states do not restrict ownership, so some members may include individuals. You can be a person, just a regular person, and be a member of a corporation or an LLC. You can be a corporation, which then if you are a member of an LLC through a corporation, that provides a lot more protection than just being an individual. And other LLCs and foreign entities. So you can have a foreign entity and be a member of an LLC. There are no maximum members of an LLC. Most states also permit single member LLC, so only having one owner. A few types of businesses generally cannot be LLCs, such as banks and insurance companies. Check your state's requirements and federal tax regulations for further information. So depending on an election made by an LLC, usually you would file an 8832 if you would like to be treated as a corporation. And see, what I'm getting this information from the Internal Revenue Manual itself, because this is where I go to, check anything as far as when someone tells me about a company or new rules changing. These are the people that you want to go to. What I would say, the best way how I live my life as an entrepreneur, I do everything through my business. So I've transferred all my assets to my business. My car. Recently, I'm in the middle of purchasing an investment property that would be going under my business. Anything that I do, any type of meals that I have, all of that type of stuff goes under my business, and I tell you why. Doing that, you will actually save money as an entrepreneur. So they have a app called Keeper Tax. At first, I was nervous about this app because you have to connect it to your bank card and your credit cards, anything that you want the app to keep track of. But where this app really helped me out, anytime I slid my card anywhere, if I ordered DoorDash, anything that I did, the app would actually classify the purchase as some type of either 1099 activity or, were you discussing business at this lunch, or it'll actually text you and ask you these questions, and all you have to do is reply yes or no, and it will, do the calculations for you as far as your taxes, your tax return goes that year for your business. And at the end of the year, you're able to just tap into the app and take all that information and put it on your tax return, or you can just file your taxes directly through the app. So they're really trying to make it very easy for us as entrepreneurs to kind of get our whole tax situation taken care of. Or if you just want to take all that information and give it to your tax person. I was a licensed tax preparer for about 3 years, and I will tell you, when someone does that, I love that customer. When they have all their information, how it's supposed to be, all their receipts, or their proof of whatever evidence of anything that they spend. When they have it all organized, it's beautiful. So this will be file or tax keeper tax, and apps like that will be your best friend as an entrepreneur. So an S corp are corporations that elect to pass corporate income, losses, deductions, and credits through their shareholders for federal tax purposes. If I'm going too fast, you guys, please let me know. If you have any questions, please let me know. Shareholders of an S corp report the flow-through of income and losses on their personal taxes and are assessed tax at their individual tax income rates. This allows S corps to avoid double taxation on the corporate income. S corporations are responsible for tax on certain built-in gains and passive income at the entity level. To qualify for an S corporation status, the corporation must meet the following requirements: be a domestic corporation, have only allowable shareholders, may be individuals, certain trusts and estates, and may not be partnerships, corporations, or non-resident alien shareholders. They another requirement: have no more than 100 shareholders, have only one class of stock, and not be an eligible corporation, i.e. certain financial institutions, insurance companies, and domestic international sales corporations. In order to become an S corp, the corporation must submit a Form 2553, election by a small business corporation, signed by all the shareholders. So then you can see the instructions for the Form 2553. A lot of those forms, if you read the instructions, they are written at an 8th grade level. They're required to be written at an 8th grade level. So if you read the instructions, they have a lot of, I know a lot of us don't have time to, but it would definitely save time save you time in the future and money if you just read the instructions sometimes and, follow the instructions exactly, especially with the government. The government wants you to do things exactly how they ask you to do them. And if you do them that way, most of the time, you will be in the government's favor. And I'll talk more about that when we have our session on government contracting and getting certified to do business with the government as well. So forming a corporation and the formation of a corporation. So the difference between an S corp and a C corp. An S corp is more a small corporation. A C corp is a larger corporation. I think over a C corp is over 500 employees or something to that effect. In forming a corporation, prospective shareholders exchange money, property, or both for the corporation's capital stock. A corporation generally takes the same deduction as a sole proprietorship to figure its taxable income. A corporation can also take special deductions. For federal income tax purposes, a C corporation is recognized as a separate paying entity. A corporation conducts business and realizes net income or loss, pays taxes, and distributes profits to shareholders. So basically that means that a corporation is an entity itself. So is an S corp, and it pays out to its shareholders. It distributes profits to the shareholders. Now, one way we really should all be setting up our corporations is it's not the same, but one way we should be setting up our corporations is by, of course, getting a payroll and a payroll company. Like, what's a payroll company? What's that payroll? I forgot. It's on the tip of my tongue. But if you set yourself up with a payroll company, instead of just, saying that, once you have your articles of incorporation, whatever other business paperwork, like business license that you need to operate your business, that's not all that that's not a complete business setup. You want your business to run as if like you were going to have a resume and sign up for someone else's business. Just like if you were going to work for Walmart. Once you start working for Walmart, you give them your W-9 and everything like that, and then they start giving you a paycheck. You're on payroll as an employee, and they give you a paycheck. However you can set it up like that, you want to set it up because now you're able to kind of function as you would in society, and it's easier to function that way, depending on your situation. But what I'm trying to say is you want to totally make the separation between you and the business entity. You don't want to work in your business, you want to work on your business. So the profit of a corporation is taxed to the corporation when earned, and then it's taxed to the shareholders when distributed as dividends. This creates a double tax. The corporation does not get a tax deduction when it distributes dividends to shareholders. Shareholders cannot deduct any loss of the corporation. If you are a C corporation, use the information in the chart below to help you determine some of the forms that you may be required to file. Corporations that have assets of 10 million or more file at least 250 returns annually are required to electronically file their forms 1120 and 1120S for the tax years ending on or after December 31st, 2007. So all this information I will be like compiling in kind of every session that we do one of these. Next session, I believe we're talking about government contracting. I'll compile a PDF or one pager, not too much information that's going to be overwhelming, and I will be giving this out to people that are interested as far as when it comes to starting a business. If you don't already have a business, if you're interested in having these forms, you'll have them. So for a partnership is a relationship between two or more people to do a trade or business. Each person contributes money, property, a labor or skill, and shares in the profits and losses of the business. Reporting a partnership income. A partnership must file an annual information return to report the income, deductions, gains, losses, etc. from its operations. But it does not pay income tax. Instead, it passes through profits or losses to its partners. Each partner reports their share of the partnership income or loss on their personal tax return. Partners are not employees and shouldn't be issued a Form W-2. The partnership must furnish copies of a Schedule K-1, which is a Form 1065, to the partner. For deadlines, you can see about Form 1065 or U.S. Return of Partnership Income. Does anyone have any questions I should ask? Anyone have any questions? I know that this can sometimes seem like a little boring, but it's really actually important information when it comes to starting a company and how you want to get everything rolling, especially when you start from here and when you talk about business credit. But we'll talk about that in a second. So a sole proprietor this is the last type of business, the fifth business. A sole proprietor is someone who owns an unincorporated business by himself or herself. However, if you're the sole member of a domestic limited liability company, you are not a sole proprietor. If you elect to treat the LLC as a corporation. If you are a sole proprietor, use the information in the chart below. That will help you determine some of the forms you may be used to require. So, sole proprietor is kind of just like an LLC. It doesn't really have too much protection because, of course, once again, you're putting yourself out there with your social security number. That's going to be, I believe, like the thing that most companies ask for, and because you're identified, your entity is identified as a sole proprietorship, you'll be held liable for what happens with the sole proprietorship. Now, as far as when it comes to liability, one thing that I would suggest, one thing that I've been using for the last couple of years, I believe since I started my company in 2019, is Hiscox Business Insurance. Hiscox Business Insurance is a reputable small business insurance, very affordable. $75 a month will get you $2 million in coverage. Either $75 a month or $365 a year. But that will cover up to $2 million for anything that happens with your business. They cover any theft of business property, any damage of business property if your office burns down, or if something happens to your company car, as long as it's under, it's registered under your company. They will provide you, say someone said that you caused them harm, or you try to, do some type of something. If, say, you had a business dispute, any type of business dispute with a person, the Hiscox Business Insurance will either give you the money to get your own attorney or provide an attorney for you, even if it was your fault. So that's a good resource right there to kind of have under your hat as far as when it comes to liability purposes, especially if you're going to be a sole proprietor or if you're going to have an LLC.
Excuse me, can you what that resource was? I got a call and I blanked, but I just was curious what resource you're talking about.
Hiscox Business Insurance, HISCOX Business Insurance, or you can go to hiscox.com.
Thank you.
Yep, no problem. You can customize exactly what you need as far as, what fits your business needs, and they will give you a quote. Very affordable, very affordable. So I say all this stuff to say the next thing that we're going to be getting into is business credit structures and the importance of being your own financier when it comes to being an entrepreneur. A lot of people are not taught how to build a corporation correctly when starting out. A lot of the times, say for example, I have a t-shirt business, and the t-shirt business is based off of it's a clothing company. It's based off of spreading financial awareness in disadvantaged and underserved communities. But in order to start that business, of course, I would need t-shirts, I need vinyl, I need heat press machines, I need all that type of stuff. So what we do here at IE Experts, we teach people after we teach them how to fix the person's credit. We teach people how to fix. We just don't give them fix. We actually teach you how to fix and tell you why things are happening, so that in the future you can self-correct before you get to that point, or you can fix it yourself. We teach people how to build their business using trade lines, how to get an 80 Paydex, how to get a DUNS number, because there's two different ways to get a DUNS number. You get a DUNS number as a U.S. contractor, as a government contractor, or you can get a DUNS number just as a regular business. We teach you how to get a DUNS number as a contractor. We show you how to basically leverage and network with government contracting agents and different people that will, like people from SCORE Business Mentors, that will help you to answer the questions that are hard as an entrepreneur. Like, there's a few things. I actually spoke with a business mentor. I have a few business mentors, but I spoke with a business mentor the other week, And he told me something simple that, I would tell someone else. And it's like, sometimes you need to have somebody on the outside of your situation looking in to give you simple advice that will help you move forward. And, he told me, sometimes you can be, just to be candid, he said sometimes you can get in the way of your own sale just trying to present too much to the public. As far as he was looking at my website, my clothing website, and which is, by the way, wisdomiswealth.net. We're going to be doing a special sale this month because it's Financial Literacy Month. But he was just giving me advice on how to just simplify things, and that's kind of how the approach that I'm taking when it comes to trade lines and getting an 80 paid-X, a DUNS number. Connecting with the government so that you're able to do government business, because a lot of the times we get upset that people are not patronizing our business when we need to figure out how to go get business ourselves. And small business is the cornerstone of America, and the government in America actually rewards people for opening businesses and doing business with them. There was something in 1933 that Roosevelt signed called the New Deal, and part of that New Deal was the government signing a contract to do business with the private sector. The private sector is us, the entrepreneurs of the United States and the world. The small businesses actually create the bigger businesses, because what happens, for example, when I worked at the California Black Chamber of Commerce, we had these meetings called pre-bid meetings, right? In these pre-bid meetings, there will be companies there that are called primes. For example, one of these primes would be a company called Granite. Granite is a construction company, and it's a huge construction company. They get millions of dollars each year from government contracts. So what happens is, and this is what happens on a bigger scale. This is just like what do they call it? A microcosm of a macrocosm. So what happens is you go to these pre-bid meetings, with your company. Say you had a construction company. You would go to these pre-bid meetings and you would talk to these primes and get to know these primes, because what happens is the primes are the ones that actually get the big check from the government. They get the $100 million check. And so what they're supposed to do with the check is they're supposed to take the check and spread it out to get whatever project done. So say, for example, Granite does a lot of highway construction projects. So when you see those guys on the road with the cones and hard hats and they're directing traffic, and then you got the guys that have the hard tools that are working on the road, those could actually be three different companies. One company holding the cones and the flags, one company, directing the traffic, and another company that's actually doing the work. The prime hired those three companies from the money that they got from the government, and they kind of filtered it down. They took their administration fee, and then they gave the money to companies that they had the capabilities to complete the project. It works like that on every level for every different, not only for construction, for IT, for security. They have contracts for T-shirts. I just recently seen the contracts for the Army. The Army and the Navy put out contracts because they need PT shirts, physical training shirts. And the company, the Army, they needed over 1,700 shirts. And so that jobs like that get passed out to small businesses. So that is what our company is in existence for, is to spread the awareness that, hey, you don't have to just rely on the public to do business. You can actually do business with the government, and it's actually more lucrative because the government will give you contracts. Once you complete one contract successfully for the government, then you are looked at as trustworthy in the government's eyes, so you can continue to get those contracts as long as you show up and, to the pre-bid meetings and talk to the right person. Because really, it's not about the bid. The government contracting game
I like to call it, is about people. It's about the capabilities to complete the project. It works like that on every level for every different, not only for construction, for IT, for security. They have contracts for T-shirts. I just recently seen the contracts for the Army. The Army and the Navy put out contracts because they need PT shirts, physical training shirts. And the company, the Army, they needed over 1,700 shirts. And so that jobs like that get passed out to small businesses. So that is what our company is in existence for, is to spread the awareness that, hey, you don't have to just rely on the public to do business. You can actually do business with the government, and it's actually more lucrative because the government will give you contracts. Once you complete one contract successfully for the government, then you are looked at as trustworthy in the government's eyes, so you can continue to get those contracts as long as you show up and, to the pre-bid meetings and talk to the right person. Because really, it's not about the bid. The government contracting game, I like to call it, is about people. It's about knowing people, getting in good with people, building a good rapport with people. So the better rapport that you have with people that work in the government, that's their job too. So they just want to make sure that they hire a company that's capable of doing the job, and if that company is reliable, then they have no reason to go anywhere else. So just keep that in mind for the next talk that we're going to have. I will open up this next 30 minutes for anyone that has any questions, comments, or concerns.
I do have a question. By the way, I worked as a tax preparer for 11 years, and I still have my enrolled agency status, so it's good to hear that you work as a tax preparer. The question I have is, me and my fiance have it set up as a partnership LLC. Would it be better if we set it up as an S corp, or should we wait till it grow a little bit more?
So I would say it depends on how you guys. So yes, I would say first of all yes, just because if you want to be protected, then from liability, then yes. So my first question actually should be, is there a specific reason that you set it up as a partnership?
Didn't want the typical LLC. Didn't know any better, honestly.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. It's definitely fine. Because some people use it to try to build their business credit fast because they're using their social directly. So, I would just go ahead and really what you can do is, like I said, I will send you, if you give me your email address, I will send you this sheet that I have that shows you different corporations, different types of entities and business structures. And if you click on S Corp, it'll take you directly to the form that you need to file, which is form 2553, to just change that election from a partnership to an S Corp.
Okay, so I don't need form 8332?
I believe that is a power of attorney form. Let me take a look at that if I'm not mistaken. Or is that the entity class form? Partnership. Yeah, you would need, according to IRS, the form 2553. Now, I'm looking at the filing requirements. It doesn't say something about the 8832. That's the entity class. I always get confused with those two. So yeah. I see that one. I see the 8832 eligible entities. So an eligible entity uses Form 8832 to elect how to be classified for federal tax purposes as a corporation or partnership. Yeah, so you're trying to change from a partnership to an S Corp.
Right.
Yeah, so you would use the 2553.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, no problem. Is there any other questions or comments or concerns? I know it was kind of short today. Imani, did you have anything? Oh, okay. Go ahead.
So I run my business currently as a sole proprietor, and I've been doing a little research on which I wanted to file under, and I definitely agree with the whole LLC being tied to you thing. Would an S corp be the best filing? As because I do like retail. I have a retail store, online retail store.
Okay. Yeah, I would say so. And once again, I'm just speaking off my experience and off the things happening in my business and me being protected by, my insurance. The S corp. So this is the example that I use. If you were working at McDonald's and you were flipping the burgers, and the burger, somebody came back to you and said, "Hey, there's a roach in my burger," right? They would not be able to sue you personally because you were making the burgers. They would actually have to sue the company. So that leaves you're protected by the corporate umbrella or the corporate veil of the company. So that, yes, I would definitely use an S corp if you're in that type of thing, just so that you can, it just separates you from the company itself as far as liability goes. So you still control the company, but you're not liable for anything that the company does. And then if your company does injure someone, you would have that insurance to be able to, remedy that person or company, whoever it is.
Okay, thank you. Because I just kind of felt like the LLC and the sole proprietor were technically the same thing.
Yeah, technically it is. Technically, as far as, especially with liability.
Okay, thank you.
Uh-huh.
And so after so,
Imani, go ahead, take it away.
Oh no, I got a question because you already know I'm still learning.
You sound kind of far away.
Okay, hold on 1 second. Okay, is that better?
Yes.
Okay. Because I'm still learning, and I know right now technically I'm an LLC, and so it's after. So you guys, Mr. Alaric is actually showing me and building my business credit, right, so that I can actually qualify for the government contracts, which I'm super excited for. And so after that business credit is built, am I then switching over to an S corp or something different? Because I think that's dope.
So really, I believe you can switch over at any time. What I would say would be to switch over before you start to build your business credit, just in case they give you a new EIN number or anything like that. Because your business credit is attached to your EIN number. Your EIN number is like a social security number for your business.
Well, right on.
So if you're thinking about making the switch, I would make it as early as possible.
Right on. Thank you so much for answering that. Yeah, because there's so much this is it's okay. So I took chemistry because it was a challenge. I ended up failing chemistry. So this is definitely, you know what I'm saying, a learning opportunity, because there's a lot that I don't know. But that's so cool. Thank you, sir.
No problem. All right. Well, that's it for me today. If there's no more questions, please join us for tomorrow. We'll be talking some more about corporations, government contracting, getting deeper into the good stuff. This is just the beginning. We will be here.
We're also creating content. So you guys, the replays will be available definitely in our subscriptions, but we will also make sure that there are some pieces of content, especially important aspects, that people will be able to see for free. But know that every day, especially Tuesday through Thursday specifically, we go into corporations as well. And then Monday through Friday, I'm gonna help you guys with the foundation and with marketing strategies so that you can get ready and prepare to really scale and expand your business. So thank you guys so much for being here. We appreciate you. And if there's no more questions, Pocahontas, thank you for rolling, rocking with us. Know that we'll be here, and I just gave you a follow. So yeah, I hope you guys have a phenomenal day. And if there are no more questions, then Mr. Alaric, it's on you. You know what I'm saying? Close the room, and you guys have a phenomenal day. Thank you for being here.
Y'all have a great day as well.
All right, you guys have a good day.